You don't have to think about it. You might want to say, I'm going to line up my chakras and have a good chi, or you can say, heartfelt salmon, today on Let's Cook. Hi, welcome to Let's Cook, where our theme today is heartfelt salmon. Why heartfelt? Because you have to put a little bit of passion, a little bit of love in what you like to make, but salmon's very good for your heart. So let me just go over the menu. We're making a warm salmon salad. Then we're going to do a stovetop salmon with baby bok choy. 2 items out of this world. But the first thing we have to do is fillet the salmon. So right here I have a beautiful whole salmon. I have it on ice. It's nice and cold. See, we have the shaved ice on this. This is going to keep the salmon really nice and fresh. And the reason I left it in the container right here was to show you how, when you buy your fish at the market or the store, the fish should be stored. So we'll remove our salmon here. Now this salmon has already been, the head's been removed, and it's been scaled, and the internal organs have been removed here. So I'm just going to show you how you can fillet this. First thing we need to do is you need to wipe this off and make sure it's nice and dry. Now when you buy the salmon, if it's already filleted and you're going to put ice on top of it, make sure you put the salmon in a bag or cover it with plastic wrap so the ice doesn't come in contact with the meat itself, because then it will absorb that water, and it's not nearly as healthy. So, and it's not going to, it's actually going to take away the flavor of the salmon. So, first thing we're going to do when we go to fillet this, the reason I took off the head here is so that I can show you where I'm going to make a cut here. Plus, a lot of people, I've gotten emails, and a lot of people don't want to see the head of the salmon. So I'll just take my knife right here, holding this up. I'm going to start with the heel of my knife right here. I'm going to make a cut through the soft bones right there. Then all I'm going to do is just take and pull my knife down, and all I'm doing is I'm resting my knife right along the backbone here. So, and again, you want to be careful when you're doing this. Come right down to here. And also the other thing is, right here, the top fin has been removed here. That makes it much easier to come down the salmon. So I'll just bring this all the way out here, and you're just going to press down on the salmon this way, and you end up with a beautiful fillet of salmon that way. I'm going to get this back on the ice here. Now, to get our salmon ready to cook, we're actually going to leave the skin on the salmon for this, but right here, where this belly is here, I'm going to go ahead and remove that. That happens to be a little bit fishier, and it's good more for a mousse or a salmon cake. So we'll just take our knife, going to come right underneath here, where these bones are right here. Just start right here, and I'm picking my knife up and going right along those bones right here. See? Now when I get to this part right here, just take my knife, bring it all the way down, cutting through the skin right there. Beautiful. Isn't that gorgeous? I love salmon. And I have a tendency, I stay away from the farm-raised salmon when I buy it. Now, the other thing we have to do is right here, we have our pin bones. And what you can do is you just take a pair of tweezers, starting right here, and you go in, and you want to pull. I'll use these. I use my needle nose because those don't seem to be working. Where we're going to go in, and we're just going to pull out these pin bones right here. Now, usually, what will end up happening is where you're buying your fish, they'll already remove the pin bones here. You want to go in so you really don't damage the flesh of the fish at all. And they actually, further down on the fillet here, they turn into cartilage, so you don't have to worry about removing them. We're just going to keep going all the way down here and doing this. Now, you'll notice when I go to pull on this, it's giving me some resistance. Kind of looks like it's still boop, boop. But what that tells me is that this salmon is very fresh, because if the pin bones come out way too easy or really easy, it's not that fresh. So I'm going to continue to remove these pin bones. We're going to take a little break, and then when we come back, I'm going to show you how you can take beautiful salmon and make 2 lovely, very heartfelt, heart-healthy dishes. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Hi, welcome back to Let's Cook, where we have this beautiful filet of salmon that we're going to use to make two dishes. Now, the first dish we're going to make right now, it's actually a warm salmon salad. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the thinner end right here of the filet for this. So what I'm going to do is the first thing, you have some of the backbones that are still stuck in here. So with my knife, I'm going to come in, kind of pick this up this way and remove this. So we need to get rid of that. Now the next thing we need to do is we need to take this off the skin a little bit, but I need the skin on for the other two items I'm making. So the first thing I'm going to do is actually I'll show you right now. If I want to skin it, I can skin it this way or I can skin it this way. Either way, you can skin the salmon. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to come right down here, take my knife, bring it to the edge here, then let my knife kind of flatten out and just go right along the skin right here to remove the skin from the salmon. Beautiful. We'll just take this off here. Then I'll take this, just put this on the side over here for a second because we need to cut this up. This is a great use for leftover salmon. So we'll come here, just want to clean this up a little bit right here. I'm going to I'll cut right down the middle here, right down here, and I want this salmon to be all about the same size here. So when I cut this down, what I'll do is the thinner end here I'm going to leave a little larger, and then as I get towards the top here, I'm going to make it a little thinner so it all cooks up evenly. And again, this is beautiful fresh salmon. It should be nice and firm. It smells like the sea. Doesn't have any odor at all, out of this world. So we'll take this. I'm going to put this in a bowl right now. And even though the salmon has a nice fat content, I'm going to drizzle just a little bit of olive oil here. Plus I'm going to put some in the bottom of the pan right here. Then we'll take our salmon, season it with pepper, a little bit of salt here, and just toss this around just so that it's well seasoned nice and evenly. Now you see the darker part of the salmon here, this very dark part, that's going to be a little fishier, but that's also higher in those omega-3s that are so good for your heart. So I'm going to take this now, start this right in the pan, and let my salmon just start to cook up here. Beautiful. So we'll leave that alone. Going to cook that on a moderate heat. Now, coming over here, we need to get our salad ready to be made. So to get our salad ready to be made, the first thing I have is I have an orange here that I'm going to section. So take our orange right here. We take off the top and the bottom. Then with your knife, you're going to cut around this way and just use a nice slow motion like this. I don't really do the whole sawing thing. I find that if I'm just going a nice smooth fashion this way, letting the knife do the work, I'm able to peel the orange, remove all of the pith, even though I like the flavor of the pith, remove all of the pith, and then I'm good to go. Then for the sections, I already have some done here. But we'll just come right here, cut in with our knife here, come in here, and we take out all the sections of this. Now the juice itself, I actually save the juice of the oranges because that's also going to be part of the dressing. So we have that done. Now the other thing is I have a beautiful cucumber here. We're going to tourné this cucumber as part of our presentation. So I'm just going to I'll cut it about, this length right here, and we're going to do small tournés. Now tourné usually means that it's football shaped. So what I'll do with my cucumber right here is I'll just cut them down this way in fours, about this length. Then with my knife, we'll tourné these a little bit. So I'll come here, I'm going to come this way, and I'm just going to remove my seeds. Then I'll come here, I'll cut it down here. This is just to make it a little nicer. Turn it this way. Again, clean up those sides just a little bit like that. Then turn it over so I get a nice clean edge here. I'll just do a little cutting here and a little cutting here. So I have a nice tourné shape with my cucumber. See the difference? See how nice it looks? Yeah. Before and after, before and after. This looks much nicer. So we can do a little tourné. I'll just show you one more of these. So I come here, top, remove the seeds. Come here from the middle, turning it as you go, pulling the knife to your thumb. come here, do the same thing. Clean it up here, turn it here, clean it up here, turn it over. Clean up your edge there a little bit, come here, clean up this edge. Good to go. So we have our tornado cucumber right there. Now, the other thing is my tomato. Tomato, we're just going to take our ends off. Once here, then bring it to the edge of your cutting board right here. Start right here, flat, get your knife flat. So you've just cut through the skin here. Take this right here, just bring it down that way. This way, remove the seeds there. Then we can take, if you have a little excess seed in there you missed, get rid of that. We take this, just cut it down this way so we have some nice julienne right there. So now we're ready to actually make our salad. Now to make our dressing, I'm going to come over here. I have some brown sugar here. Take some brown sugar. Here's the juice of my orange. Right there, we need 2. Dissolve that brown sugar. Add a little balsamic vinegar to this. This is good to go. Oh, do need a little bit of salt. Be careful with the balsamic. And a little bit of pepper. Beautiful. And if you like, you could also use a splash of soy sauce in there, but I'm just using a little bit of salt. We'll stir this around. This is our dressing. Now we're ready to actually make the salad. Bring our bowl right here. Beautiful. Now, aren't you wondering about the salmon? Look at my salmon. Oh, kind of just makes my heart go pitter-pat. All I'm going to do with this right now is take this, toss this around now, because this is almost done. Beautiful. Now we'll arrange our salad. I have some beautiful Boston lettuce here, nicely washed. We'll take this. This will become the base for our salad. Now this is, you could use this as a first course or just as a salad. Then we take a little bit of mixed there. Now, what I'm going to do right now is just take my salmon, the salmon, just kind of put right on top. Again, remember, this is a warm salad here. Then we take our tomatoes, kind of drizzle them around, some of our orange sections right here, and then all you have to do now is just drizzle the dressing on top. Beautiful, wonderful, heartfelt salad. And then the last thing that I'll do is I'll take the cucumbers. I actually put them in the dressing here because I really want them to have the flavor of the dressing. Put them right in the middle. Let's take a little break because when we come back, I made this for my daughter Kiva the other night. It was delicious and it's very simple. Minimum, no fat. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Hi, welcome back to Let's Cookware. Now we're going to do our stovetop salmon with baby bok choy. Now, the first thing, I have 2 beautiful salmon fillets right here. And what I did is I left the skin on. It's been scaled. There are no scales on this, and I'm going to actually sear this with the skin on because it just creates a much better flavor, and the salmon actually cooks better with the skin on. First, however, we need to make the marinade for the salmon to go into. So for this, I'm using some sesame oil. Along with that sesame oil, I'm using a little olive oil. Great colors on that, isn't it? Almost looks like it wants to be an egg. Then I'll take and I'll put a little bit of soy sauce in here. I don't know if that's kind of like artwork right there. I don't know if I want to hurt that. Then we'll take a little bit of hot sauce right here too. Get a little hot sauce in there. Pinch of salt. That's it. And all we do is we mix this together. Now, This marinade is really to flavor the outside of the salmon. It's really not there to impart into the meat at all. Just need a little bit more soy sauce olive oil in here. Just a little bit more. Beautiful. Now, all I'm going to do now is I've started to heat my pan. I have my pan on a nice low heat here. It's not on a really high heat because I'm going to slowly cook this on the stovetop. We now take our salmon, put our salmon into the marinade. Now, if you wanted to, and let's say you had people coming over, you could do this and let this sit in the marinade for a little, a couple hours. Won't hurt it at all because there's no real acid in here. Then we're going to take and we're going to start with our skin side down in the pan here and just let this start to cook right in the pan, nice and slow. And you can see how fresh the salmon is. You see how that just started to shrink up. You can actually see it shrinking up on here where it's just slowly shrinking up, and that's from the skin. See how small this one got here? It's starting to slowly shrink. Beautiful. Now, we're going to make a little sauce out of this to go with the salmon, and that's going to be a little bit of cornstarch here, dissolved with a little bit of vegetable or chicken broth that we're going to do to thicken the sauce up. And here, I just want you to come back to the salmon because I want you to see how slowly this is cooking on the side. How we're just getting little light bubbles in there. You see those little light bubbles? That's exactly what we want. Nice and slow. Beautiful. So we're going to let our salmon start to cook there. Now, the next thing we have to do is we have our bok choy that we need to make. Now, for the bok choy right here, I have my pan right here, and I have my baby bok choy here. Beautiful baby bok choy. What I did with the bok choy is I took the bok choy on the bottom here. You need to shave this off right here, so we shave that off right there. Then, this can be a little dirty or sandy, so you'll split this in half. You can run it under water, but what I do oftentimes is I just put it in the water this way, let it sit in the water here, and then I pull it off and I let it just drain away. Just making sure that if there's any sand on the inside, that's out of there, because the worst thing in the world would be sandy bok choy with delicious salmon. So, now this is what's so easy about this dish. I have my onion right here, and what I'm going to do with the onion is I'm just going to take the onion, cut it down this way, then I'm just going to cut it in nice thin slices like this. Here's all we do. We take our pan, a little bit of oil in the bottom of the pan there. We add our onions to this. Beautiful. Then we take a little bit of minced garlic. Beautiful. Mix that together. Then we take right on top of this mushrooms, sliced mushrooms. This is a great thing about this dish, is that you just kind of layer it in the pan like this. Then you'll take your bok choy, put this in the pan as well, right on top of the mushrooms. You don't even have to stir this. Right on top here. Get this last one in here as well. Then simply a drizzle of soy sauce in the bottom there. That's it. Put a lid on it. Lower your heat so it's at a simmer. Walk away. You come back in 5 minutes and it's going to be good to go. The other thing is, let's come over here. Let's take a look at our salmon here. It's not quite ready to turn over because the sides are not coagulated enough. So I'm going to have to allow this to continue to cook. Get rid of that skin right there. We're going to take a little break. When we come back, I'll show you how you finish the salmon with our baby bok choy. We'll be right back. Hi, welcome back to Let's Cook. Now, I have my salmon in the pan here. I'm going to add some liquid to this just to deglaze the bottom of that pan. We're going to remove the salmon here. Then I'm going to thicken the sauce with just a little cornstarch slurry. So I'm going to put this right here, and then I'm just going to take this right here, make sure we pick up all the flavor of the salmon here in the pan, add a little slurry to this with cornstarch, let that come to a simmer. So that's going to be my sauce. Next, we have our bok choy here. Remember, we just did the onions with the bok choy, with the mushrooms, with a little soy sauce and garlic, and it was just layered in there. So I'll just take the bok choy right here because that's on top. So that's the first thing to come out. Then we have our mushroom and onion mix right here with the garlic. Oh, out of this world. Now my sauce is already here too. We just want to, just a little tighter there. So just a little bit more cornstarch. I really wanted to get a nice shine to it. Sauce is now good to go. Now with the sauce here, all I would do is right here, right around the salmon like this. Out of this world. And again, this is going to be delicious. You can, if you don't like the skin, remove it, but it's going to taste out of this world. Thanks for watching Let's Cook. Have a great day.